Okay, if I told you you could eat your way to a better period, healthier hormones, and more energy, would you be interested? I certainly hope so, because in today's video, we're going to be talking all about how to actually eat in sync with your cycle. And in case you're new here, my name's Berri. I'm a menstrual health educator and the creator of Optimize Your Flow. I'm going to teach you how to optimize your life based off of your biology, especially if you have a period. So with that being said, go ahead, grab a little beverage, I've got some red raspberry leaf tea in here, and grab your notebook because we need to talk. Also, all of this information can also be found in my ebook called Nourish Your Flow. So if you definitely want to learn how to eat your way to a better period, I've linked it down below. Now, that being said, let's talk about why it's so important to utilize food as a tool to help you achieve things. I think oftentimes when we talk about like eating in sync with your cycle, people are like, oh yeah, just eat the protein, healthy fat, and fiber, and like you're fine. And it's like, yes, but to take that a step further, I want you to think about it like this. What's in you is literally going to come out of you. So if you are eating foods that are highly inflammatory, that's going to cause higher prostaglandin levels. Prostaglandins are the things that kind of can cause super bad cramping. They help the uterus actually shed the uterine lining, so they expand and contract that muscle tissue. However, when you have these higher levels of prostaglandins, right, that could be a result of too much inflammation in the body. Well, if you're feeding your body things that are going to inflame it, such as gluten or dairy, if that is something that you have as a sensitivity, that can cause more pain, right? But when you learn how to utilize food as a tool to help you heal and actually live better, you're in a much better position, right? So with that being said, today, I want to touch on the first aspect of the one method that I mentioned last week, which is organizing your meals. Now, what we're going to talk about specifically is one, how to actually nourish the body at a baseline level first and foremost. Then from there, we're going to build into what to be eating throughout each of the phases or what you can eat. And number three, we're going to touch on why you may want to do that. So like I said, grab your notebooks, let's get into it. So when it comes to nutrition, the first and foremost thing you want to make sure that you're getting in at a bare minimum every single day at most meals are going to be a protein, a healthy fat, and a fiber. Now, why do we want these things? The reason you want protein, right, goes beyond building muscle. A lot of people think you want protein just to build muscle. You actually want protein to help regenerate and help your cells regenerate, but also replenish, right? So we want protein for cellular development at the end of the day. We want healthy fat to help our body uptake some of those micronutrients and minerals that your body actually needs, such as your B vitamins, your zinc, your iron, selenium, magnesium, things like that. That's going to actually help the cell take in the nutrients that you're consuming. And we want fiber to keep you regular, okay? We want to make sure you're having those bowel movements, but beyond that, fiber is actually going to aid the liver in the natural process of detoxification that it goes through anyways. So again, we're focusing in on protein for cellular development, okay? We're focusing in on healthy fat for nutrient uptake, and we're focusing in on fiber to keep you regular, to eliminate some of those things that are maybe not serving you. And on the topic of elimination and detoxification, which are natural things the body does, we want to do these things to get rid of higher levels of hormones, whether they're hormones your body makes or maybe synthetic hormones from like hormonal birth control that may be present, right? We want to help the body get rid of these things that are not serving it, okay? So first and foremost, protein, healthy fat, and fiber at most meals, okay? The next thing we want to do is regulate how often you are eating to stabilize your blood sugar levels, okay? When you're stabilizing your blood sugar levels, you can avoid kind of that 3 p.m. coffee crash you might experience, or maybe that moodiness that seems to come out of nowhere, right? Now, I know some people are like, well, I like intermittent fasting, I follow this. Listen, I don't care. Straight up, I don't care. We want to regulate your blood sugar levels so that we can balance out that hormone level and that energy level. So do whatever works for you, okay? Because I'm not going to argue with you. But if you do want to have PMS-free periods. You do want to have balanced hormones. You do want to have clear, glowy skin without needing a filter or any makeup on. You may want to consider, listening to what I'm saying. Just a little thing. So with that being said, now that we know what nutrients kind of are doing and why they're so important, right? And we understand why it's important to stabilize our blood sugar levels, let's talk about how to actually eat in sync with your cycle. So right here, I have the meal plan out, and I'm going to comb through this really, really quick, but I've also gone ahead to actually link a little grocery list for you. But during the first phase of your cycle, menstruation, the body is literally eliminating things, right? It's getting rid of things. So what you want to do is actually support the body in replenishing. Really try to get in some complex carbohydrates and protein, so you're feeling satiated, but also so the body is not utilizing protein as energy, but rather a carbohydrate as energy, right? A complex carbohydrate, and if that, okay? So in addition to this, you may want to make sure that you are getting things that are warm and really nurturing to the body, because you are eliminating things. So you do want to replenish. As the body is physically releasing stuff, you want to begin to restore. During the second phase of your cycle, the follicular phase, so post-period but pre-ovulation, we want to go for things that are a little bit more light and fresh. So during this time throughout your cycle, your hormone levels are on the rise. So one of the best things you can actually do is begin to consume foods that are going to help with the gut health and healing. Now, oftentimes what people will do is say like, oh, I'm going to support my gut. Why? Here's why. You need to support your gut, but more specifically your liver, in helping get rid of these higher levels of hormones that may be present, whether it's cortisol or maybe we're dealing with an estrogen dominance related thing, and really aiding the body in estrogen metabolism, right? There's a lot of different things that I'm going to be saying that you may not be familiar with. So if you're like, what are you talking about? Drop me a comment down below and say like, what is estrogen metabolism? Or things like that. So I know kind of where you are, but your gut health is going to directly impact your menstrual health, right? So if your gut health is poor, your menstrual health might be poor as well. If you're not really, maybe you're somebody who has like IBS or something like that, that's going to come through as bloating throughout your cycle as well, but more specifically on your period or when you're PMSing, right? So again, we want to prioritize gut health and really get those foods that are going to be good for you to detoxify, aid the liver in its natural process of detoxification. So this could be doing like a heavy metal detox smoothie. This can be something like maybe cruciferous vegetables. Everyone responds differently, but we want to begin eating these things to really support the body. During the third phase of your cycle, so ovulation, what you may want to do, and this is what I recommend to my clients to do, is kind of consume more food. Here's why. According to research, there's an increase in the resting metabolic rate, so you actually might be hungry. Now, this isn't to say give your body a bunch of junk and give your body a bunch of trash. Don't do that. We're not doing that, okay? But what we are doing is actually saying, okay, I am hungrier, so what can I get more of that's going to support the ovulatory process, but also prep my body for the next menstrual phase, right? So this is a great time, in my humble opinion, to turn up that intensity of those dark leafy greens, continue eating more light and fresh. So continue getting in those smoothies and different things like that, but also make sure maybe you're doing like a nourish bowl that has a lot of protein and a lot of healthy fat, again, with its fiber, right? So the healthy fat is so that we can actually make sure the body is uptaking the proper cellular nourishment and micronutrients and really helping the body. If you don't know the role of micronutrients and minerals, it's totally okay. Just let me know down below in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about why it's so important to have these micronutrients and minerals. But in addition to making sure that you're getting in enough micronutrients and minerals, you do want to make sure you have enough calories. Like, food is your friend. Food is a tool. It's either going to work for you or against you, and how it works is entirely up to you. So I recommend that if you are noticing you're hungrier when you're ovulating, increasing that protein intake as well, because protein is going to leave you feeling fuller longer, especially if you have a busy lifestyle. Okay. Now, once we've gotten through ovulation, we're transitioning into that luteal phase, right? What we want to, again, focus in on is going to be protein and micronutrients. Now, what I've noticed with protein and micronutrients, especially if you're somebody who deals with a lot of menstrual moodiness or menstrual anxiety, stressors, and different things like that, micronutrients is going to help downregulate that nervous system and really make you feel better in your body. It's also going to help with the production of a hormone called progesterone. Now, you may not be familiar with progesterone, and that's totally fine. We'll talk about it in another video. But when you're doing this, you're taking your body out of this fight or flight state with food, right? So maybe you're somebody's high stress, high anxiety, and you're always in this fight or flight state. Well, nurturing the body with micronutrients and minerals and protein, right, and healthy fat and fiber is actually going to increase the progesterone levels in the body, or the production of progesterone, I should say. When you are increasing the production of progesterone, you're saying to your body, it's safe for me to thrive. It's safe for me to relax. It's safe for me to rest and digest. However, when there's not enough progesterone in the body, sometimes it tells the body, oh, be in fight or flight, boom, 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 right? And we don't want that. So how are you going to eat in sync with your cycle, right? You're going to do protein, healthy fat, and fiber at most meals. We do want to focus in on getting those micronutrients and minerals. That's the baseline of what we're going to do. Then throughout different phases of our cycle, we're going to have different focuses. So we want comfy, cozy foods when you're PMSing. We want comfy, cozy food when you're on your period. We want light and fresh things post-period, but pre-ovulation. And when you're ovulating, we definitely want to turn up the intensity of those calories just a little bit if the body is telling you that. If your body says, I'm hungry, feed her, right? Like that's what we're doing. But in addition to that, if you notice like, oh, I'm really not that hungry, that's okay, right? Listen to your body at the end of the day. Now, let me get a little bit more micro, because I know some of you are like, listen, sis, I love all of this, but I need specifics of what to eat, how to eat, and why, right? So with that being said, let me pull up a little grocery list for you. Oh, and let's go ahead and touch on cravings really quick. So, phase one of your cycle, we're going to do some low GI carbohydrates. We're going to do root veggies, whole grains, legumes, and things along those lines. When you're post-period but pre-ovulation, we're definitely going to do some fermented foods, some kefir, some probiotic, rich yogurts. Make sure you're taking a probiotic regardless, and juice salads, right? Things like that. When you are ovulating, we want to make sure that we're not only having our smoothie bowls and our salads and things like that, but maybe increasing your kales, your broccoli, your onions, cruciferous vegetables, and things that are going to help the body prepare to get rid of those higher levels of estrogen so that you can avoid pain in the long run, right? And then during the fourth and final phase of your cycle, we're going to make sure that we're prioritizing getting a lot of micronutrients and protein in, okay? Now, a lot of people will ask, well, which micronutrients, which proteins, and different things like that. That is a completely different video altogether. But if you do want to know more, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and get my period meal plan called Nourish Your Flow. It's going to change the game for you. I literally ate my way to a better period, and I have had perfect periods for the last 4 years now. And so I know that you can do it. If I can do it, you can definitely do it too. It's not about how much food you're getting. It's more so how diligent you are to showing up and supporting your body.
I hope today's episode has been highly supportive to you. Now, if you're thinking, Berri, I can't leave comments on like a podcast, I just want you to know that I also recorded this as a Zoom because it might be happening on a YouTube channel near you come July. But nonetheless, make sure you do check the show notes for some of those resources that I mentioned. In addition to this, I want to actually share with you something else that I created that I like to call the optimal bundle. Now, more often than not, when I am teaching you all things, you love it. benefit, right? But then maybe you might be like, oh, I need to get back to that later or whatever, right? Or you want more information. The optimal bundle is my 2 signature masterclasses, one that is all about cycle syncing and periods, and number 2, all about hormonal birth control in how to practice fertility awareness, and the Nourish Your Flow meal plan. So I decided to sit down and create this $99 bundle so that you have access to information to really integrate in your own way. Oftentimes, I know that I've been a culprit of being like interested in working with someone, but not really being like, I don't need like all of your help the whole way. I just need the gist of the information. And so I took the gist of information that I know that is really going to help you master your menstrual cycle and really transform those periods, balance those hormones, and enhance that mood. And I bundled it all together. Literally, the value of this is over $497. If I'm being honest with you, I am completely undercharging for the amount of value and information that is not only real facts, but digestible and practical. That's my thing now, is making sure that I provide a boutique wellness experience for you that is also really practical and implementable, because I feel like that's been missing in the health space, but that's a tangent for a different day. Nonetheless, I would highly encourage you to enroll in the optimal bundle. Get your hands on it this month, because as of July 1st, the price will be going up to something a little bit different. It's going up to $297 or like somewhere in that range. So I'm just going to tell you this now. Get it now. Get it while it's hot. Get it while it's for the low. And of course, I would so appreciate if you did enjoy today's episode. Send me a DM at Optimize Your Flow on Instagram, or better yet, leave a 5-star rating and review. And as always, I'm sending you big love and flowy vibes, and I'll talk to you soon.